Boy was amazed to discover that the fake university he had created on a whim had unexpectedly attracted thousands of students. For Bartleby, this was not only a sudden disaster, but also a moral test, because the total tuition paid by these students amounted to tens of millions. Faced with this huge sum of money, his friends suggested he run away with the money, but Bartleby's conscience wouldn't allow him to do that, so he decided to gather all the students and prepare to reveal the fabricated truth. However, just as he was about to confess everything, a student stood up excitedly and expressed his heartfelt gratitude.
When I got accepted here, it was the first time my parents ever said they were proud of me.
His words touched the hearts of everyone present. The school meeting, originally planned to announce the closure, suddenly turned into a passionate speech.
Shouldn't we all have the chance to be said yes to? At South Harmon, we say yes to you. We say yes to your hopes. We say yes to your dreams. We say yes to your flaws. So welcome. Welcome to South Harmon Institute of Technology.
And the origin of all this was that a few days earlier, Bartleby had received a list of college admissions. Many of his classmates had been accepted into their dream colleges, but he alone had not been accepted by any. On that unremarkable afternoon, he suddenly thought that since he couldn't get into a college, why not create one himself? So he put the acceptance letter into a photocopier and cleverly copied a school emblem in a different color, then gave the fake university a name. After making a few simple edits to the introduction, he successfully created a college acceptance letter. However, a single piece of paper wasn't enough to convince his father, so he contacted a friend who was good at programming and asked him to help create a fake university website. This cleverly resolved the crisis. His father believed it was a trustworthy institution and paid all the tuition in one lump sum. He even decided to accompany Bartleby to the school for registration. It was then that Bartleby realized he had fallen into an even deeper predicament, so he quickly gathered his friends to discuss a solution, hoping to find a place that could temporarily pass as his so-called university. They then arrived at an abandoned mental hospital. When they pushed open the dusty doors, they were met with a ruin in need of serious repair. With no other choice, they first tore down the outer fences and then gave the entire space a thorough cleaning. After several days of hard work, South Harmon Institute of Technology finally began to take shape. However, before the school even opened, Bartleby received a call from his father. His father still doubted the legitimacy of the school and insisted on meeting the school's principal in person. Bartleby tried to dissuade him multiple times, but this only made his father more convinced that something was fishy.
Dinner's at 8.
Wait, Dad, I can't talk.
After hanging up the phone, Bartleby immediately informed everyone of the news. The top priority was to find someone to pose as the principal. At that moment, Red thought of his uncle. He had once been a senior professor at the nearby Harmon Institute of Technology, but was fired due to his eccentric personality. So Bartleby immediately asked him to return and play the role of the principal. Meanwhile, the other two used their connections from the arcade to recruit some volunteers to pose as students for Bartleby. Once everything was ready, Bartleby arrived at the makeshift campus with his parents. Seeing the beautiful campus and complete facilities, even his usually stern father couldn't help but show approval. He thought everything would be fine once his parents left. However, a bigger problem soon appeared. A rapid knock on the door suddenly broke the silence. Bartleby opened the door and found a boy standing outside. The boy claimed he was a new student reporting for enrollment.
Oh, this is no longer a mental health facility. I'm so sorry we can't help you. Good luck to you, pal.
I don't need a hospital.
Okay. What are you doing here then?
I'm here for orientation.
Bartleby thought he must have come to the wrong place and suggested he go to the nearby Harmon Institute of Technology. But the boy said he hadn't come to the wrong place, and he wasn't the only one. Many others had also been accepted by this school. As more and more people poured in, Bartleby felt like he was having an out-of-body experience. These new students came from all walks of life, but like Bartleby, they had all been rejected by other colleges. Some parents didn't even question the quality of education at the school. They just wanted to hand their kids over to the school so they could have some peace of mind. Faced with the parents' hopeful smiles, Bartleby felt completely overwhelmed. So he quickly went to find Red, who had built the website. It turned out Red had added a feature to fool Bartleby's father, a clickable acceptance button on the official website. Now, with each student paying $10,000 in tuition, the massive sum could easily land Bartleby in prison for life. Red's friend suggested he take the money and run, but Bartleby's conscience wouldn't let him do that. He decided to keep the school running, but now he faced a real problem. He had no idea how to manage it. There was no curriculum. The students were outside barbecuing and playing around, enjoying this rare moment of happiness as much as they could. But if this continued, it would eventually attract outside attention. So Bartleby decided to learn how a real college operated and quietly snuck into the real Harmon Institute of Technology. But to his surprise, the college atmosphere wasn't vibrant or hopeful as he had imagined. The students who had fought hard to get in seemed to have lost their sense of direction. Some were sleeping in class, others were addicted to video games, and the professors seemed completely used to it. Some teachers didn't even lecture in person anymore. They just played pre-recorded lessons on a loop. So Bartleby turned to Red's uncle for guidance. His uncle got straight to the point about the nature of college. He believed college wasn't some untouchable institution. At its core, it was a service industry. Its purpose was to listen to the needs and ideas of students. Students didn't pay to be met with indifference and ridicule. They came seeking the experiences and knowledge they truly desired. Inspired by his uncle, Bartleby had a sudden realization, so he began asking each student for their input on course offerings. Most were initially confused. They were used to being told what to learn, but soon, a flood of different answers began to emerge. Some were passionate about rock music, others were into extreme sports, and some were fascinated by fashion design. Through these conversations, Bartleby discovered that everyone had their own unique interests, and wasn't the true purpose of education to discover and nurture those interests? So Bartleby decided to invest all the tuition money into what the students truly loved. He allocated resources based on each student's interests. For example, Dylan was passionate about food and cooking, so Bartleby used his tuition to build a fully equipped kitchen. Jack, a member of the track team, was actually obsessed with sculpture, so Bartleby bought him all the materials and tools he needed. For students who loved music, Bartleby built a stage and provided the necessary sound equipment. He encouraged students to write the courses they wanted to learn on the blackboard, and handed the power of learning back to the students themselves. This seemingly hands-off approach led to unexpected results. The students who once seemed aimless were no longer idle. They began pouring passion and effort into the fields they cared about. As time went on, the blank spaces on the blackboard gradually filled up. Through this approach, Bartleby not only sparked the students' initiative, but also helped them discover their own potential and passion. After some time, South Harmon developed its own school motto, "Do what you love." This fun and knowledge-rich teaching style began to gain recognition. More and more students were drawn to enroll. Just as everything seemed to be going well, the dean of Harmon Institute discovered the existence of this imposter school. He hadn't expected this fictional university to be so beloved by students, even surpassing Harmon in popularity. This made the dean extremely displeased. He decided to go to the school and make Bartleby pay a heavy price for it. Want to know what happens next? Follow me. The rest of the story is coming soon.